The front wheel of a tricycle is 155% as larger as its rear wheels. Use 100 grids to show how the front wheel compares to the rear wheels. That's the front wheel. Like that's 155% on a 100 grid, and that's the back wheel, which is only 100%. The cost for a downloaded game was $10.99. Added to this cost was a 10% before tax processing fee, 5% and 7% PST. What is the total cost of the game? First, I used a ratio table and put $10.99 on it and 100%, and then I divided by 10 so I can get the 10%, which equaled that. And I did $10.99 plus 199,000 hundreds, I think, that which equaled 1284 thousandths for the 10% part. And then after, I put another ratio table, which was 1284 thousandths and 100% divided by 100, so I can just get a 1%, which was 0.84, and then after I times it by 12, so I can get the 12%, which was 1.45008. 12. Then after all of that, I did 12.084 plus 1.45008 equals 1353, but that was rounded. So that's what the game total was. The number of caribou in a particular herd was monitored over a 2-year period. The first year, the size of the herd was estimated at 30,000. The second year, the herd was estimated to be 90% of its original size. What was the approximate size of the herd in the second year? First, I used the ratio table to explain the percent and caribou. And I put 30,000 caribou and then 100% since that's the original. Then I divided by 10 so I can find 10%, which equals 30,000 caribou. 3,000 caribou. And then I times the 10% by 9 to equal 90%, which I had to find. And I got 3,000 times 9 equaled 27,000. And 27,000 was the answer since you have to find the 90% of 30,000. What is a better deal? 60% off a pair of shoes or 20% off a pair of shoes, then a 40% reduction off the discounted price? Use an example to show that you're thinking. What's that? I used an example of $80 shoes, so I used the ratio table. So I put 80 and 100 on the other side. I divided 100 by 5 to equal 20, and then after I times it by 3 to find the 60%. But on the other side, I had to do the same thing. So I divided 80 by 5, which equaled 16, and then 16 times 3, which equaled 48. So that was $48 for 60%. And I used the original price, 80 minus 48, which was 60%, to equal $32. And that's for the 60% shoes discounted. And the other side, which is B, which was I used another ratio table, $80 and 100%, and I divided both sides by 5, which equaled 20% on one side and $16 on the other. And I did 80 minus $16 to equal $64, so I can find the price of how much the shoes was discounted. And then after, I put $64 and 100, and then divided by 5. 100 divided by 5 equals 20. And I did 12.8 times 2. and the other side the same, you get 40%, which was 25.6, and 40%. And I did 64 minus 25, 60, which equaled to a total of 38.40. So I would rather choose the 60% off a pair of shoes rather than this one. Then 20% off a pair of shoes, then a $40% discount because it equaled less.
Cool.